This is your WCIA 3 forecast first.
It's been a very busy day across the viewing area. This is our view from Charleston on our first bid weather camera on our Flooring America INET. Cloudy skies with the rain showers and the storms coming through there. We still have storms in the area that are now passing mainly south of I-70 currently. So a couple warnings out there to talk about as temperatures have cooled down with rain-cooled air in the upper 60s and low 70s. Storm tracker Doppler shows that things look a lot different now than what they did earlier. Everything has slid to the south and southeast. We have one warning left over for portions of Clark, Crawford, and Jasper counties. Radar estimated 60-mile-per-hour winds out of this one. It is weakening as it moves off to the southeast at about 40 miles an hour. And we still do have a flash flood warning that's in place for portions of Douglas, Moultrie, and Shelby counties until 7:15 this evening. The flash flood warning that was issued for portions of Champaign and Ford counties, where most of our coverage this evening takes place from, has come to an end. Our storms are moving off to the east very slowly. And so we're going to be talking about more storms overnight tonight, with a few more of them left over for tomorrow, and then a nice weekend is shaping up for us. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
All of today's rain has left part of central Illinois underwater. The hardest hit community is Gibson City. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Roscoe. State police say essentially all roads in Gibson City remain impassable and all state highways are closed. Take a look at this video. The city is covered in water and it's several feet deep in some places. There have been several water rescues in the area, including an apartment building for the elderly that had to be evacuated by boat. That happened near 13th and State. City officials and police are asking everyone to stay home and avoid unnecessary travel in the area. And of course, do not try to drive through flooded roads. Now, people who live in Gibson City says it is the worst flooding they have seen in years. We have team coverage for you tonight, starting with our chief meteorologist, Kevin Lighty. He is live there in Gibson City. Kevin, what have you been seeing there on the ground?
Wow, just incredible flooding here in the Gibson City area. Just to give you perspective of where we're located. Highway 47 coming into town from the south side, okay? Right behind me is where 47 and 9 come together, the intersection there. Look at all of the vehicles that are stranded there in the middle of that intersection. A very popular road that everybody knows about. Look at this car. It's going through it right now. This is happening live on the air right now. We do not encourage you to do that, because the other vehicles that are back behind there, they've got stranded. They've been stranded for several hours now. They've had to get boats to come rescue people. This guy, obviously, you know, he's braving it and going through it. Bad news over there. Bad news for businesses. Look at this behind me. This is the Choose to Change Fitness Club. That building has a foot of water in it. We talked to the owners who said they've never seen flooding like this. A foot of water inside there. So streets, businesses, and homes as well. Take a look at this home behind me. You can see all the water coming in to the front footsteps there, right there into their driveway, and all along in this entire neighborhood dealing with the flooding conditions out here. Now, I want to actually talk to somebody who lives actually just over in that neighborhood, and just so also happens to be the 911 coordinator for Ford County, Dennis Higgins. Dennis, wow.
Yeah, haven't seen this since the late 70s when we had some big storms in.
Now you work with 911, so I'm sure it's just been crazy busy, calls everywhere. You know, just been a wild day here.
Yes, they have. They've had a wild day. It started just after the storms came through, and it's still going.
Yeah, so Dennis, listen, we appreciate you. Appreciate you what you guys are doing here to keep everybody safe. Again, we've got people that are coming through. We showed you the vehicle live here on the air. Guy just kind of come through, and now he's going to try to squirt by here where they've got this blocked off. This is blocked off. There's barricades here. They've got the Illinois Department of Transportation vehicle that's here, and he's going to try to squeeze on through. So, Jennifer Roscoe, it is a mess here. There's a lot of rain, and here's the thing. They've got a boil order that's in effect because, obviously, of all the water here. They had to shut down the plant there, the water plant, because of power issues there. And so it's just kind of a mess. A lot of people out here trying to navigate around these floodwaters. And again, we're going to continue to keep you up to date with this. The water still has not gone down a whole lot. So this has been some flooding that they haven't seen here in a very long time.
Yeah, it is a mess. And Kevin, the water superintendent, called us and talking about the power to the water plant being cut. He is telling everybody there in Gibson City, besides there being a boil order until further notice, he's also saying the city's about to run out of water, so you're only supposed to use it in emergency situations right now.
Yeah, that's right. They're about to get out of water, which seems so, you know, against everything.
Ironic.
There's so much water here, but this is the bad water. The good water, they're almost out of. So, yes, please conserve that because that is another just issue, a fallout effect to this very bad flooding in the Gibson City area.
All right, Kevin, we'll be back with you in just a few minutes. We do want to tell you about this in Gibson City. School buses have been picking up people who are evacuating their homes and taking them to the middle school. About 100 people were there as of an hour ago. The superintendent says they are dealing with rain, like we've said, like they have never seen before, but everybody has a positive attitude.
We're trying to keep people dry, offer them water, a clean restroom, and a place to transition until they can find a ride or until we get some more help.
Now, they have some food and water, but could get more if needed. If anyone needs a warm place to stay, they can stop by. People are actually using their own boats to help other residents get over there to the middle school. The American Legion in downtown Gibson City is also open and has food available. So continuing our team coverage, meteorologist Jack Gerfin is here now. You have been holding down the fort.
Yeah.
Massive flooding there in Gibson City. Are we seeing that anywhere else?
We are seeing things actually tapering off in a lot of spots, which is really good to see. So what we're going to do is we're going to show the radar here for a longer loop than we normally do to talk about a couple things about what has actually happened. So our storms that we had in Gibson City, they started off as thunderstorms, but we had what was called training of thunderstorms. Think about a train. It's going over the track, and it's the same track, but a train can be miles and miles long. Our line of showers and storms became very, very long earlier this morning and into the afternoon. This is our 6-hour loop here, and you'll notice that most of the loop has our showers and storms lined up in an east-west fashion, and it's only been recently where they've really raced down to the southeast. We're going to zoom into the northern portion of Champaign and Ford County and still look over the 6-hour span within this circle that I've drawn here. You'll notice that most of that time has the very dark oranges, the dark reds, and even the kind of purplish pink color that shows up too, signifying that they have not only had multiple hours of rain, but multiple hours of very heavy rain. And so what we're going to look at next is our radar estimated rainfall. This is in the same area, and the radar is able to look at the overall picture and determine how much rain it thinks has fallen. It's pretty accurate. Sometimes it overdoes it by a little bit, but right here on the county line between Champaign and Ford counties, just off to the southeast of Gibson City, radar estimated amounts coming in at 11.4 inches. So that means that it's very easily possible that this location here saw about 10 inches, maybe even a little bit more of rain. Again, training of thunderstorms has occurred here. Luckily, the training of the storms has now ended. That made a severe threat for us possible, but now even those storms are coming to an end. We're still dealing with some power issues in Ford County, but they've actually improved quite a bit here. What's actually happened, Sangamon and Christian counties, they've actually lost a lot of power because of storms there. Once the storms became less of that east-west line with the training and it became more of a southeastern movement, they gained some strength. They actually had some very strong winds with them, and as a result of that, we have about 3,600 customers in Sangamon County without power and about 1,600 that are out of power in Christian County. We'll talk much more about our storms. We still have some warnings out there, too, to talk about, and we'll show some videos as well.
And there in Sangamon County, we're going to talk about what's happening with the State Fair and how the weather is affecting that.
First day.
Thank you.
Yep.
As a reminder, you can download our WCIA3 weather and news apps to stay up to date on weather conditions near you. And weather was a factor in a 2-vehicle crash on I-72 near Whiteheath. A car lost control on the road in the rain and drove through the median. It hit the front of a semi-truck. Damage was severe. The passenger and driver of the car were both taken to the hospital and ticketed. The State Fair, like I said, has officially opened, but opening day looks a lot different than in years past. Here's a look at what's coming up on News Nation tonight.
Tonight on the Doppler Report, it's not heaven, it's Iowa. Players hitting the field of dreams. But what's happened to America's pastime? I'll share some thoughts on the game of baseball and some suggested changes. Now here's Leland Vittert with a preview of On Balance.
Thanks, Joe. With prices skyrocketing at the pump, how much do gas prices really impact the way Americans vote? Plus, the fall of Rudy Giuliani, how the former presidential advisor is cashing in to stay in the limelight. That's coming up on Balance tonight, followed by News Nation Prime.
from your local news leader, Jennifer Roscoe, and Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Kevin Whitey. You're watching WCIA 3 News at 5.
The state fair officially started today, but like we said, weather is impacting it. Usual opening day festivities were canceled because of the storm. WCIA 3's Cole Henke out on the fairgrounds live for us. Cole, everybody's been waiting to have this fair since the pandemic had started. This was not the beginning they had wanted.
Yeah, that's right, Jennifer. Mother Nature really rained on everybody's parade out here today. The ribbon cutting ceremony didn't happen. The Twilight Parade was rained out. And we just learned in the last hour that the Sammy Hagar concert for tonight was also canceled. And to top it all off, the rain just started here again. There are still some fairgoers here on the fairgrounds enjoying some fair food, waiting around. Some of them drove hours for that concert here tonight. But as of right now, everything, the rides, the attractions, everything closed down out here on the fairgrounds. And no plans as of right now to reopen everything. Now, coming later tonight, we will be talking to some of these fairgoers who came up for the concert, see what they thought about the first day of the fair and how it all turned out for them. Jennifer?
I can imagine they're not happy. We both went when we heard Sammy Hagar canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No one can drive 55 now. It's canceled.
Very good job.
It stinks because the weekend is going to be amazing for the state fair. It's just today.
Just today.
Just
okay.
It's a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are still going to talk about our storms here. Again, this is our storm tracker Doppler. We still have a couple of warnings left over in the far southeastern corner of the viewing area that will go for just a little bit longer. We'll talk about those as well as what we expect to happen for tonight and tomorrow after the break.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Jack Gerfin.
First off, if you've not done so already, download our WCIA3 weather app for your Android or Apple device. It's free, and what the nice thing is you can do is you can send in pictures through the app directly to us in our inboxes, and then we can share those on social media. This is our view currently from Charleston on our first mid-weather camera, on our Flooring America iNet camera. Things are really quieting down across our viewing area. We're still cloudy with some of the rain showers and storms. As we take a look at our storm tracker Doppler currently, we've got still some warnings down in the southeastern corner of our viewing area. This is still, again, though, the 6-hour loop, and you'll notice that we had the training of our thunderstorms that have occurred for many hours this morning. In fact, some of us were seeing rain showers as early as 4 o'clock this morning. Those storms were essentially making themselves and forming themselves over the same area like a train going over train tracks. And then once we got into the afternoon, they were able to move off that boundary, and then we're really accelerating down to our southeast. And with it being so hot and so humid today, those storms had a ton of energy to work with, and they have just moved very quickly from here on out. So Clay, Greene, Sullivan counties, we also have Clark, Crawford, and Jasper counties. All these warnings are in place in our far southeastern corner of our viewing area until 5:45, 60-mile-per-hour radar-indicated gusts. We've got a little bit more training that's starting to occur now by the Jacksonville area north of I-72. You can kind of see again, it's a line of storms east-west in direction, and they're not really moving very much north or south. It's not as bad as what it was early this morning for Gibson City, but it is still there. And those storms, once they were able to get off that boundary, they were racing down to the southeast. You'll see the velocity there picking up on some of the very strong winds. That's why we still have the warning that's still in place in our southeastern corner. But again, the main story has been all the rain with the training of those thunderstorms in the same locations, especially in northern Champaign and Ford counties, where we have radar estimated amounts coming in over 11 inches. And that's where we're going to see and check in now with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty, who's in Gibson City. Kevin, what's the latest where you're at right now?
Yeah, so the water here is still just so high. If you drive up 47, you pass by Rhino Ag, you've probably seen it before, and you can see, look at this water in the park. That right there is a fire hydrant that is under. You can just barely see the top part of the fire hydrant there. So much water here, and it is not receding a whole lot yet. As you can see, they've actually stopped traffic here. 47 is closed. You cannot get into Gibson City from Highway 47. Vehicles are getting turned around here. IDOT is out here telling people to go the other way because the intersection at 47 and Highway 9 is underwater, and there are 3 vehicles, I can count 3 vehicles that are just sitting in that intersection right now. And so again, you can see all of the water that's out here. We're going to come back and have more at the end of the show and more at 6 o'clock and talk about why so many people may have water in their basements, and it may be a reason that you may not think of, other than just the fact that there was a lot of water, but something happened out here. We'll talk more about that coming up here at the end of the show.
Thanks, Kevin. Here's other video that actually he shot, and this is from Gibson City from all the rain from this morning and earlier this afternoon. We've got people that have been urged to stay in their houses, and in fact, we've got many instances of flooded roads, rescue workers coming in with boats, helping victims out of their houses. We've also seen some wind reports as well when those storms really gained and accelerated off the boundary and then moved off to our southeast. Severe thunderstorm outlook for the rest of the evening, pretty low right now. We have a marginal risk for severe weather, but we do anticipate there being more storms as we go into the overnight hours that'll likely develop. So our storms are moving out of here, but then pretty late tonight, a few more of them are possible to kind of pop back up again. We'll drop down to 72 overnight tonight, and then for tomorrow, a high of 80 with a few more showers and storms that are going to be possible here. And we're going to be looking at that to be kind of more so a much more spotty event as we go into our Friday afternoon hours. Our cold front comes on through. It makes things very quiet. So we'll show the 7-day at the end of the show, showing you that it's much more comfortable from here on out. But the worst of things are done now at this point.
All right. I think all of our stories have to do with water.
Yeah.
We've got another one right here. Thank you, Jack. Some scientists have spent half a year looking at sewer water.
Does not replace human testing, but it complements the human testing.
What they found about the spread of COVID-19 in it. Researchers across the world are testing the ways COVID can spread. A U of I professor has been testing sewer water all year in parts of Champaign-Urbana-Rantoul. She's found high levels of the virus that causes COVID. Researchers say when they first started testing in January, there were very high levels. Things started to die down in the spring, but levels are back up again. And now they're detecting the Delta variant.
Usually we don't get tested if we are not asked to do it or we don't experience symptoms. However, we still can get infected even after we get vaccinated. And once we get infected, we will shed virus. So this method does not replace human testing, but it complements the human testing.
She says this research can give health officials a better look at how prevalent the virus is. We're going to check back one last time with Kevin. That's up next. Our top story in central Illinois tonight, of course, the flooding in Gibson City. It has left that town underwater. There have been emergencies. There's a shelter set up at the middle school. We've got Kevin Lighty there in Gibson City live with an update. And Kevin, you have their, I don't know, most famous resident right now with you.
We do, and we're going to talk to him in a second here. And we were talking about how, you know, there's so much water in people's basements here, and it's because their power went out. Those sump pumps, you know, if you don't have a backup battery or generator, your sump pumps weren't able to, you know, keep up with that. Even if you did have a sump pump and a generator working, that thing was just working so hard. And actually, Jacob Dickey, who's with us here, he is also falling to that same fate. You've even got basement in your parents' house, of course, living here in Gibson City.
Yeah, there's about anyone in town that's going to have water here. It's going to be a long-term cleanup, a long-term event. This is historic flooding. This has not been seen in over 50 years, a generational flood event for the city. I think the thing to note, Kevin, is as severe as this flooding is, I like to think of Mr. Rogers, look for the helpers. There's a lot of helpers helping my hometown today, and I'm really proud of those people here. So we're going to get through it. A lot of flooding here, but, you know, the water will come down, and the people are going to help.
There are a lot of people here, and I know that, you know, a lot of people are going to be helping out, you know, and you're going to be right at the front lines of that as well. But a lot of water here, and you've never seen something like this here. We're standing right in the middle, Highway 47, when typically this time of the night, tons of traffic would be coming along here. So, Jennifer, we're going to send it back to you. We're going to have more coming up here at 6 o'clock of this devastating flooding here in Gibson City.
Yeah, more at 6. Thank you so much, Kevin. Of course, a reminder, they're asking people not to use water only in emergency situations right now.
Yep, and then, of course, on just the basic note, turn around, don't drown. Don't drive through all the flooding roadways. You don't know how deep it is. You don't know
like
how deep
we saw somebody try to do at the beginning, or do at the beginning of the news.
Don't do that. We still have a warning out there for portions of Clark and Crawford counties for the next few minutes here. Our storms will be wrapped up by tomorrow. 7-day looks nice.
All right, we'll see you at 6. Good night.